All right, folks. We're laughing here already, and the interview hasn't even started. I'm talking with Mark of Periphery here on Do You Know Jack Radio Show today, coming at you from the Great Slave Lake on the shores of in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, Canada, the true North, strong and free. How you doing, man?
Good, not bad.
Yeah, no, you guys just released a new album too. July 22nd, you released Periphery III: Select Difficulties. Yeah, now it's interesting because you guys talked about Juggernaut almost being a response to Periphery 2. So I mean, Periphery 3 is almost like a response to Juggernaut in that the songs are a lot more direct and a lot more in your face than perhaps Juggernaut, which unfolds thematically as most concept albums do.
Yeah, and I always say that Juggernaut is a slow burn. We had a lot of fun writing that album and sort of taking a completely different approach to our music, but it was out of our comfort zone to an extent because of the way the story worked with the music and the fact that it was a concept album and it was 80 minutes of music pretty much. And there were a lot of things that we were. Oh, sorry, hold on. There's a police siren in the background. Detroit. What can I say?
Detroit Cop City.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, there were a lot of challenges writing Juggernaut, and I think the output, is something that we're very proud of. But you can definitely hear that we were trying to go for some new things, and it is a slow burn. Juggernaut, I don't think is an album that you can hear for the first time and be like, oh, this is life changing. I think it takes a bunch of listens to really get into, even casually.
Yeah.
Whereas Periphery 3 is just a direct, like you said, direct kick to the groin area.
Yeah. That's how you've been characterizing it in the various different interviews you've done so far. I like that. It's it's painful and direct. It's just like right there, right in your face.
Right, and we wanted to start just kind of no frills. That's why the first couple songs don't really have much singing. It's mostly just Spencer screaming his balls off and us just kind of sort of providing the instrumental onslaught. We wanted to be right in your face from the moment it begun. Sort of a stark contrast from the album before it.
Yeah, well, Juggernaut was recorded over a 6-month time period or whatever, whereas I think this one was much quicker too, which probably part and parcel characterizes how it came out.
Yeah, and people always ask, why so quick? How did we turn around so quick? And I think there could be a misconception that we rush an album. That was our main concern.
Yeah.
We knew we were inspired. We knew we had tons of material waiting, and we were all just sort of riding this creative high from last year. But, we heard from our management, we heard from record labels, already, okay. Are you sure you're not rushing it here? And we knew that was going to be kind of a reaction from some people around us. But, there's no sense in waiting around if you're feeling creative. And I think because of all the constraints that we face with Juggernaut, having to satisfy a double concept record, we were just sort of brimming with enthusiasm as soon as that came out. I think there was one sentiment in the band that was just like, let's just write music to be, to have fun. Let's write music to put out fun music that we can get behind 100%. No lyrical framework, nothing like that. And that was the reason we were just so enthusiastic to get back to work.
For sure, yeah. Well, and Nolly's, production and engineering methods have evolved over time too. So, I mean, that's got to be a good reason why things sound a lot more crisp and direct as well, right?
Yeah, he's definitely come a long way. I think you can hear it evolving from one album to the next. And there is something to be said for, the ease of working this way. One gift that we've always been allowed is being able to be completely self-sufficient, to keep everything in-house, to be able to record an album front to back from the writing process to the mastering process, basically keeping 100% in-house. And because we're allowed this gift, it sort of permits us to be able to work on our own pace, work at our own pace and keep our own schedule intact and not really have to worry about all these moving parts outside of our band. We can set our own release schedule. We can take as long as we want with things.
Uh-huh.
and we can record an album 6 months after we put one out. There's no real set way to do things as long as we're relying on everyone in house.
Yeah. Well, now, seeing as you guys are on the road right now, I mean, like, are you the type of band that as soon as you wrap a record, you start writing on the road, like, already? Or, I mean, is it just too busy and crazy when you're touring to do anything like that?
We've tried writing on the road before. It's tough. It's weird because we're one of those bands that just writes for fun, regardless of whether we have a release to write for. It's just something that we do by nature of who we are. And that's why we always have a lot of material in the waiting when it comes time to write an album. But we've tried bringing a recording setup on the road, and touring is its own world, and it's really hard to force that creativity out when you got to worry about being around 12, 13 other people on a tour bus, having to worry about traveling from city to city, putting on a good show, practicing for each show. And all there's a million other things to keep into consideration when you're on tour. And
sure.
We've kind of abandoned the idea of writing ambitiously on tour. Thank God.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it. So I don't blame you.
I have seen bands that do it though. We toured with this band called 12 Foot Ninja from Australia a couple of years ago.
Oh, they're great.
And yeah, they're amazing. And they would show us like full songs that they had written, like traveling from city to city on a really nice recording setup on the bus, and we were kind of blown away.
Wow.
Yeah. Kudos to them.
Yeah, well, I mean, some bands like to do that, and others it's too crazy busy to focus or concentrate for the amount of time required. And I would imagine Periphery. I mean, there's a lot of complexity to the arrangements, and there's 3 very distinct and unique guitar players working on things, and of course then you've got Spencer throwing in his 2 cents as well. So I mean, what does the writing process look like? Is it a pretty complicated affair, or?
Well, the music is very guitar centric.
Yeah.
So that's always where it starts. 95% of the time it starts with some sort of guitar idea, whether it be a riff or a chorus or a bridge or even some sort of really meandering sparse theme or something. It's always on the guitar.
Yeah.
And it starts pretty simply with me, Misha, or Jake having an idea maybe, and then we collaborate as guitar players and get together, and that's how we demo. And the demo process consists of all 3 of us in a room making sure that we're at least happy with the bare bones arrangement, and then we send it out to the rest of the guys. And if they like it, then we work on it from there. And if they don't like it, well, we just table the idea and let it sit in what we call our riff graveyard. And we have seriously hundreds of ideas in this stockpile. It's pretty incredible.
Have you ever dug anything out of the trash and resurrected it?
Oh man, yeah. Actually, we've made some really awesome discoveries by sifting through old ideas. There's a cool effect too that happens. So let's say you're working on an idea, right?
Yeah.
And you're about 80% done with the song, but there's something missing. You just can't figure out what's missing. So you're like, okay, well, we can either write a new part, or how about this? How about we comb through our riff graveyard and find something that's like in a similar BPM, or in the same BPM, in the same key. And if we can find something that fits that criteria, then we'll try sliding it in there. And sometimes you get lucky, and it works. And all of a sudden you've just thrust this 4-year-old idea into a new song. So it's kind of just, it's dumb luck, but it's kind of the reason we go about archiving all of our old ideas, even if they're not deemed good enough to be used in that context at that certain time. You never know.
Yeah. Now, do you guys ever record something and you're like, this could never be on Periphery, but this is cool, so let's hang on to it? Like, did you let's whip off Master of Puppets Periphery style and see what happens,
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we'll write a passage where we're like, oh, this is weird. That's probably not Periphery. Forget about it. I'm going to send it out anyway, so the other guys see if they like. Let's see if they like it. And then they end up loving it. And then it ends up becoming a Periphery song.
Wow.
Like Catch Fire, the song Catch Fire on Periphery III.
Uh-huh.
Arguably the most commercial song we've ever done. and we all love it. We all love the song. It sort of just was a happy accident, you know.
Yeah.
I was over at Misha's place, and we were toying around with this very melodic sort of indie rock idea, very like Coldplay, Radiohead, kind of like commercial Radiohead. And we showed it to the guys, and they liked it. And we were like, it's probably not a Periphery song. And they were like, why not? Why can't it be a Periphery song? And so we tackled it with that in mind, you know, and it worked out. It's a great song. We all are very proud of it. So
For sure.
yeah, I think the idea of what is Periphery in terms of the sound and the aesthetic, I think that's expanding as time goes on, and I'm very, very okay with that. You know, I think as a band that classifies themselves to be a progressive band, I think having an ever expanding and ever evolving dynamic is a good thing. It fits the title of being progressive, in my opinion.
You know, you've commented in the past about how, you know, you've got a bit of a unique style in terms of what you do with your left hand that sort of, you know, comes into the picture in particular on Periphery.
Yeah, I have a weird style with my left hand. It's born out of bad technique and not taking enough guitar lessons as a kid. I kind of held the guitar wrong with my left hand, and since then, I've accidentally used it to my advantage. I mean, I can go slightly into detail here, but the problem was that I kept my hand slanted, sort of like with the upper part of my hand slanted towards my body, and that made it so I was always draping my thumb over the upper part of the fretboard, or sorry, the neck. And what I would do then is start fretting chords with my thumb draped over. But I think more so than other players. Like I know other jazz players who do stuff like that, blues players. But my thumb is really, really far down that neck, and yeah, it started affecting the way I write, the way I play, and yeah, I think now it's part of my sound and definitely part of the way I write. So my goal is still be able to correct it, be convertible between that technique and a normal technique, you know, so I don't pigeonhole myself. I like to go back and forth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are you worried that correcting the technique maybe, you know, will affect your writing with the band?
Yeah, for sure. That's always been my main concern. It's just like, I know it's improper technique, but I do consider it a part of my sound and part of my style. So I want to keep that intact, but at the same time, want to be able to play like a normal person. I want to be a real boy.
Yeah. I hear you 100%. You know, being a musician that had to correct some, you know, drastic thing in my own playing. I'm not a guitar player, but I've had to go through the process where I had to strip everything down and then almost like feel like starting all over again, even though I was, you know, 3 years into music school. So there you go. I know the feeling. I feel your pain.
Yeah. You're kind of like afraid to start examining things too deep, because I don't know, there's something to be said for having confidence as a musician. Like, confidence is so fragile, but I feel it's so necessary when it comes to writing your own music. And, you know, the lion's share of musicians that I've known over the course of my life are not confident people, you know, and they build their confidence through their art.
Yeah.
And if you start to tinker with that or uproot it and maybe turn it upside down and start to examine it too much, maybe you run the risk of sort of decimating that confidence, and that can be problematic. I don't know. Maybe I'm just worrying too much.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like a lot of musicians are kind of maybe shy and introspective people, and they do their confident communicating through their instruments. So if you strip that away from them or tell them they're doing it wrong, then, you know, it takes away from why they even picked up the instrument in the first place, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly my concern. But I'm a professional. I shouldn't be too worried about it. I should just tackle it.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. It's been great chatting with you. Definitely a pleasure and an honor, and I've definitely been, a follower of Periphery for, a while now. I think I first chatted with Misha 4 years ago, almost to the day. So
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's you guys were one of the first, maybe, you know, bigger acts that I chatted to on the show. Since then, things have definitely been on an upward trajectory for me, as they have been for Periphery. So, definitely much love and respect in your your direction, and it's always onward and upward for you guys. And I appreciate your support of my show, and I definitely appreciate the art that you guys are doing on a regular basis with the band.
Well, thank you so much, and yeah, cheers to both of us continuing forward.
Right on. Have a good day, and enjoy the rest of your tour.